Before I start this video, something that I left out and forgot to say completely, which I apologize for, is the things that you can do to help if you feel like you are not doing enough, or if you feel like you are doing enough but you can do more. Um, there are a bunch of petitions that I can link in the bio. Um, there are things that you could text, which I will also put. But just to say, I'll put on the screen right now, like Star Wars style. You could text FLOYD to 55156. You could text Justice to 55156. You could text Enough to 55156. And you could text Justice to 668-366. Just little things that make a difference. Thank you. Enjoy El Video.
Okay, so I've honestly been very opinionated this whole time. I understand that today is like Blackout Tuesday and we're not supposed to post and such. However, I think that the small platform that I do have, which I'm gonna manifest real quick, I know it's gonna grow, inevitably so. In the sense of the protests, I agree with the protests completely. The sad fact of the matter is that police brutality is a very real issue, as is systematic oppression, and it's something really interesting to look at, and it's very easy to say, you know what, not all cops are bad cops, so on and so forth, when in reality, what are they working for? You're working for a system that is so broken, and the foundation of a system that is in place and was enacted to keep people safe is doing just about as much harm as it is good. I can say, yes, I have met great cops, really cool dudes and really cool women, just wanting to make a difference and wanting to make a change and wanting to work towards betterment of the United States of America. But I can also say that there are cops that are just absolute assholes. There are people that join the police force and join positions in the government in order to abuse the power that they are so graciously granted. People that join these positions have these privileges and have like a right to go out and protect people the way that they are taught. But in some cases, that is just not what ends up happening. In the case of George Floyd's murder, which is heartbreaking and disgusting to think about, a police officer is not trained to put their knee on a suspect's neck. In the case that someone is pinned down on their stomach and cuffed and they are resisting arrest or being hard to detain, you put your knee in between their shoulder blades because they won't really be able to move. But your neck, that's kind of a completely different story. Your neck is a vital organ in order to be able to, one, breathe from, and also with loss of airflow, you can face permanent nerve damage. Putting your knee on someone's neck isn't something that you do thoughtlessly. It's something that you do maliciously and viciously. And for people to defend police, and not even just the one cop that did it, but the three that were standing with him and allowing him to do such vile acts, There's no room to defend them. And to make things worse, before George Floyd was even put onto the ground and restrained, he was still handcuffed in the back of a cop car and getting beat senselessly, while 2 cops were on one side of the car standing out in the street keeping watch, while the other was standing right by the door watching the cop that later ended up murdering him beat him up. And then once they noticed that there was a CCTV cam, someone seemingly said, "Camera." And that's when they put him on the ground and stopped. I have no words. I am absolutely dumbfounded to think that people can be so negligent to information that is right in front of them. More recently than ever, have not been believing in opinion. I have been believing in fact, because the fact of the matter is, what we believe in and what we depend on it so much, you know? Something goes wrong ever since we're in elementary school. You're taught, call 911 in an emergency. The police will help you, and they'll be there to help you. What do you do when the police stop helping you and the police start doing things to hurt you? And to say, and to go out and protest peacefully. For example, right now, today, it is now 5:42. Los Angeles curfew is at 6 o'clock. But they tried to make it 1 p.m. without notifying the citizens and protesters within Los Angeles County, leading people to get arrested for going out and doing something that they believed was okay. Let's also talk about the fact that protesters that were peacefully protesting were sitting in these parks in the shade because it got up to 80 degrees today, and they were probably hot. You're screaming, you get hot-headed. But these protesters were sitting in a park, and once they were gone, and once they were done making their rounds, the park was spotless. These are people respecting the laws that are placed. They aren't suggestions. They're there for us to follow and to adhere to. But for the National Guard to be lined up along Hollywood Boulevard and for police to dictate where the protest and where the walkthrough is and is not allowed to go, doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose? And on the account of looting at the heart of it, at the very center, it has absolutely nothing to do with the George Floyd protests and the Black Lives Matter movement. Looting and destroying these businesses, it's here, while what we're trying to achieve is here. They're on 2 completely different playing fields. People being selfish and greedy and honestly just snakes and hurting small businesses and even big businesses, which honestly, I don't care. Burn down the Target. It's not like they can't repair it. They have the money to. But at the same time, what is the point? Why are celebrities like Jake Paul going out and looting? Isn't your net worth millions of dollars? Don't you get thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars daily from merchandise sales? Why do you feel that you have the right, which nobody has, to go out and steal? Even in the case of the tale of Robin Hood, he didn't even have the right to steal, and he was stealing from the rich to give to the poor. Morally so, you would think that it's right because he's stealing to give to the less, fortunate. But stealing is stealing. But I would absolutely love for people to stop mixing up the fact that looting has to do with these protests and riots. It doesn't. And when it comes to the riots, it's because things started out peacefully, and when speaking about Minneapolis and now Los Angeles and many other places, they weren't started violently. The police turn things violent. On another note, why don't we talk about the fact that 20 different news stations all gave out the same broadcast, verbatim. It's a little bit strange, wouldn't you think? I just don't understand. I don't. I also don't understand why people are being so quiet. And it makes me sad that people that go to my own school, people of color, are afraid to stand up for themselves and post things about the movement on social media, which honestly, because we can't vote, is the most powerful thing that we can do. Even if you feel that it does nothing, it is doing way more than you think, because it's providing education and it's providing awareness to something that a lot of people really do not have the balls to put out. There is no equality in America. Whether we're speaking about racially so, gender equality, equality between sexualities, there's nothing. There's no equality. There's still wage gaps. There's still success opportunities that are just so skewed, it's not even funny. Something sad that is so brutally true is the fact that I can go into 10 job interviews, right? I go, me, a white teenager, I'm applying at big businesses, right? I go and I apply, and I can guarantee that because me, a middle class white teenager, is more likely to get more accepted job opportunities than someone of color. Whether they're Black, Mexican, Latino in general, Asian, blue, green, purple, I don't care. I can guarantee that I am more likely to get those jobs than other humans, which at the end of the day is all that matters. Even if you're an alien, you deserve rights, you deserve respect, you deserve care, attention. I don't understand how people can think that white privilege isn't a thing. At all. In 2019 alone, just 2019, not 2020 and the shit show that it is so far, but 2019. The fact that 2.5 times more Black or African American people are killed by police than whites goes to show. And where this is happening also goes to show. Since the birth of America, the South has been the most racist place in America. And that's still the case. People don't think that this is an issue. And I don't know how you can think that this isn't an issue. I really do not. 1607, Jamestown was established. Already in Jamestown, Englishmen and women already had slaves, African Americans. Even the Mayflower Compact, there were slaves aboard. It took, 200 years to abolish slavery? Until the Emancipation Proclamation, and there were still slaves. And the founding fathers of our country had slaves. We are a country built off of slavery and racism and prejudice and hate. Explain that to me. Help me understand why the world for so long has been filled with such hate and ignorance and just upright negligence to what is morally and in our hearts correct. And then there was segregation, which is a whole other ballgame. People that worked so hard for people to be freed. They're not colored people, they are people. And then just for people to be treated differently. Not allowed to sit in the front or the middle of a bus. Not allowed to use the same water fountains or bathrooms that you were. Sit in the same areas as restaurants as you were. Shop at the same stores. Live in the same neighborhoods. I can go on and on and on. And that's heartbreaking. Finally, segregation was no more. And now there's just racism. People of color are still lynched. People of color are still mobbed. People of color are still judged and oppressed. The lack of understanding and compassion that people refuse to have towards a group of people that we so desperately need to learn to understand and have compassion towards is just insane. We take advantage of, and we always have taken advantage of, what they can offer us. Their music, their lifestyles, their culture as a whole, the work they do for us, it's always been taken advantage of. And how are all the little white boys going to listen to artists of African American descent and use a slur, mind you, it's not just a word, it's a slur, and think that they're not in the wrong?
Little side note, I didn't just mean to say little white boys, also little white girls and many other people. Just thought I should clarify.
That doesn't make any sense whatsoever at all, period. My request for the people that see this is to be more understanding and to be more compassionate and loving and kind. Try and picture yourself in someone else's shoes before you are so quick to judge and so quick to hate. Don't judge people and base people's personalities and lives off of the color of their skin. but as a really smart doctor once said, the content of their character. If things get violent, it's only because they were turned violent. Try to differ what is right and wrong. But don't base everything that comes out of your mouth off of opinion so much. Try to think more factually. Use real facts. Don't listen to our president. I am so sorry. But please, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He really doesn't. Think for yourself. Don't follow your parents' beliefs or your grandparents' beliefs or your aunts or your cousins or your uncles or your dogs. I don't give a shit. Make your own ideas. Make your own thought processes. Feel your own feelings and think your own thoughts. That's all I really have to say. And if this really makes you super, super upset, I don't give a shit. Unfollow me. Call me out. I don't care. I really don't. I don't think I'm right. I also don't think I'm wrong. But that's the end of my rant. Be mindful of others around you. Be mindful of what others have gone through, what they are going through, what they have persevered, and what they still have to persevere daily. The world does not revolve around you. It revolves around all of us. And the sun's gonna rise tomorrow morning, and things are probably going to be the same. Change doesn't come in a day, and Rome wasn't built overnight. Just love each other and stop killing each other. Both physically and emotionally so. And if you don't understand that, work to understand it. Grow to understand it. That's all I have to say. When this will be out, it'll be nighttime, so I hope that you all have very good nights. And if you're watching it the following day or in the future, I hope that you have a really good day, good morning, good afternoon, good night, so on. But that's all from me.